Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be starting a brand new vlog, and this one may scar us for life, but we're going to proceed anyways because I don't proceed with caution, not when it comes to books. So these are going to be some unhinged books. I recently did a video where I talked about several unhinged books, and in this video is going to be my experience actually reading those. And first and foremost, I'm going to read the slob. I am itching to read this book. If you saw my last video where I talked about these, then you know, like, I cannot wait to read this, and I was super excited to get started. So if you haven't heard, the slob is following this girl, Vera, and she grew up in this house that was really gross and disgusting, and so she became a neat freak. Well, her and her husband are expecting a child, so she's going door to door salesman for these vacuum cleaners, whatever, right? I guess she ends up knocking on this one door, and it's like wild inside. It says something about like there's an evil in there, and I don't even know. I imagine the place is like just like all disgusted out from like nightmares, like straight out of a nightmare. Plus like some sort of evil spirit. Maybe the people are really evil. I have no idea. I don't know anything else other than that, and I am so excited to get started. I may not get started tonight because I'm finishing another book to write, like, on my way home. And so I may start it in the morning. I hope so. If not, it will be tomorrow night. Like, I'm not waiting any longer. Like, I've got to read this. So I will update you as soon as I have something to say. Welcome to the vlog. Boy, do I have an update for you. Listen, y'all don't know me super well, but I am not the type that gets grossed out by much. I'm not the type that gets really offended by a lot of things. There's one time on the channel that I was grossed out to the point where I had to quit a book, and so like I'm just not that person. I've listened to the slob like this. I was eating breakfast, and I legit intentionally did not listen to it while I was eating my breakfast because it's just grotesque. Like, I don't even know. Okay, like, probably don't read this one. Just probably skip it. If you're like me and that actually makes you more intrigued, then curiosity killed the cat. Okay, it does. Um, we're following this girl. I don't remember her name at this point at all. Her name doesn't matter. It doesn't. So we're following her, and she is going door to door, and she is attempting to sell these vacuums because she's trying to make money. She's got a baby on the way, and her husband needs her to make money, you know, all these things. She picked the wrong house, and bad things happen to her because of this. And it is very grotesque. Like, I've watched a lot of scary movies that are very gross and brutal, and I watch war movies, and I watch things that are very dark. I read grimdark, you know, lots of gross things happen in grimdark. This book might take the cake on the grossness. The narration started out with don't read this if you're easily offended. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm just buckling in for the ride. Whew. I thought Stephen had some weird parts in it. This definitely has some weird parts in it. It's very, very short. It was only like a 3-hour audiobook, so I listened to it very, very quickly. Especially because I listened to it on like 1.7. And this one was something. It was something. And it definitely ends in a way that's like, I don't understand the full scope of things. Like, I mean, I understand it, but like, how did we get here in the grand scheme of things? But now, like, the very, very end, brilliant. Absolutely loved it. I really liked that very ending twist. I think it was just great. It brought everything kind of full circle. And I think that this author really ended it well. It was just, it's so gross. It's so gross. Like, that's the only way that I can describe it. Well, actually, I guess I could describe it as unhinged. And you know what? It definitely fulfilled that. Like, probably the most unhinged thing I've read. And I've read some weird things. And this one definitely takes the cake. So I don't know that I don't know. Do we go up from here? Do we go down from here? Like, I don't know. We're trying to find unhinged books, right? So I guess if the next one's not as unhinged, I guess we're going downhill. But the next one I'm gonna try to read is Bunny. This one is very well loved. I follow um by Sid. She's changed her name recently, and she loves this book. I think it's like one of her favorites. And I have no idea how I'm gonna feel. It wasn't one that I was like particularly interested in originally, but because I'm trying to find like unhinged books, this is the one on the list. So we're gonna try it. If you don't know, Bunny is following this girl who I think she's at college and she's very lonely, but she ends up joining like this cult of girls and they call everyone Bunny. And apparently it gets wild. I don't know. Not like party wild, but almost like cultish wild. So, the biggest complaint that I've heard about this book is that everyone calls everyone Bunny all the time, and it's like Bunny this, Bunny that, Bunny, 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 and it's just a lot of bunnies. And so I don't know if I'm gonna be annoyed by it either, or I don't know if I'll be annoyed by it too. But we'll see. I definitely don't think that it could be worse than what we just read. So we're looking up, I guess. Okay, so I started reading Bunny, and I don't know that you know that yet. I think that this is my first update for Bunny, so I'm sorry, I'm more than halfway done. But here's my update so far. Um, Bunny. Bunny is not what I expected at all. So whenever anyone would talk about it or I would see it like on the shelves or whatever, I just like didn't care. The only reason I'm reading this book is because it's supposed to be unhinged, right? It's the only reason. But it's interesting. Like, let me tell you, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. But I'm really interested in how the nothing is happening. Okay. So we're following this girl, Samantha, and she's in college and she's a writer. And she's in a workshop with, I think it's her and four others. And they're all four girls, and those four girls are like in a clique together. And Samantha's just kind of like on the outside. And the book starts off where it's a new school year. And Samantha is coming back into her classes and the workshop and all these things. And she's interacting with the the bunnies, which is the four girls that are in their own little clique, right? And they're really weird and she doesn't really like them. She's just like very like standoffish with them. Doesn't want to talk to them. She calls them, what does she call them? Cupcake, Barbie doll, Duchess, and then there was one more nickname. I don't remember the nickname. She ends up getting invited to go hang out with them. And she ends up going. And it's after that that she starts becoming like friends with them. And the narrative in this story is super interesting because of the way that it's written. And this might be a little bit spoilery to tell you this. But so the first part of the story is very much like um Samantha's story. It's very clearly like her perspective. Well, then we kind of shift towards the middle, and it's more of like a we, and she's definitely more like inside the bunny world, and it's so interesting how it's written. So like early on, when Samantha's sort of being introduced to them in their world, and they're like talking to her, and they call each other Bunny, but they call Samantha Samantha. Well, once we get over into the second part of things, everyone is Bunny. So anytime you're in any kind of interaction with anyone, it's all Bunny, and you don't know like who's who. So it's super interesting because it just symbolizes like she's like she's invested in this clique and she's like in the inner circle of this clique, right? Super interesting. And then the nothing that is happening, I really mean like nothing is happening. She is interacting with them and going to their homes, and they're just having these like really weird interactions. And when I say weird, I mean like really weird interactions. And she can talk to bunnies, and bunnies are like everywhere now. So that's the plot. That's the things that are happening. Um one of Samantha's friends has sort of like dropped off the face of the earth, and is like trying to come back into Samantha's life, and so we're dealing with those things, and it's interesting. Like I don't really know how I feel about it. We do have some really weird things happening that are probably why it's considered unhinged. Um because they're a little bit weird. But it's definitely not the weirdest thing I've read. I mean, we just read The Slob, okay? That was wild. Steven was definitely wild, but I still think I still have like 4 hours left of the audiobook. No, 4 actual hours of the audiobook. I think I have like 7 hours of the actual audiobook, because I read it faster. I read it on like 1.7 or something. So it would only take me like 4 hours to get through the 7 hours that's left. So I hope that made any kind of sense. But yeah, it's definitely been interesting, and I am sorry if you saw that. I don't know what's happening with my lights, but I'm really interested to see where this story is going to go because I have no idea. But as of right now, I'm really here for it. Guys, I finished Bunny, and this was wild. Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't know. And so I'm going to have to look at spoilers later to, like, figure out if I know what I know and, like, I'm right. But I do like how the narrator told the story. Like, we've got some sort of, like, perspective shift within the character. We only follow Sam, right? Samantha, right? But her perspective on things changes from the part one to part two to part three. Like her perspective changes. And you really get a shift in how the narration is told during that time. I liked that because it really showcased the difference in Samantha's perspective and her mindset and who she was and how she was and things like that and like where she was like mentally. Like it really showcased that and I really liked that. Nothing really happens in this book. I mean, I can't really tell you that there's anything like super dramatic or like super unhinged. Like I don't know, it doesn't feel like there was very much happening. It was very much like plot oriented and then we'd have like a couple of pieces of like plot happening, but it was mostly just very like character driven, not a whole lot of plot driven. Very much like Samantha's mental state and um how she is as a person and her history and those kinds of things. But definitely a story about like loneliness and how growing up lonely can like affect you and things like that. So I thought that was really cool. The ending just got really wild. Really wild. But definitely glad that I read that one. Will it make a top 10? Probably not. But definitely a decent read. Definitely worth it. But I am getting ready to start Tender as a Flesh. And Tender as a Flesh is, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. Basically, if you don't know yet, we are in this world where we no longer eat animals. I think the animals either are extinct or they have some sort of disease that we can't eat them anymore. So we eat people. And we have these like plants that like push out people. You know how like, that sounds so terrible. But you know how like you have these slaughterhouses and stuff, like these plants for like these animals that, you know, distribution. That's what we have for people now. And so that's all that I really know. I know we're following a dude who like works there, but I only know that from the back of the book. No one ever talks about that part, so I don't know how much that's going to come into play. I think that that's just so we can have some sort of perspective on it. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be wild. But I'm also gonna start the ritual here soon. I could not decide if I wanted to read Tender's Flesh or the ritual, and so I just picked both, you know. And I did have to buy Tenders of Blush off of Audible because I ran out of credits and I don't want to wait 2 months to finish this vlog here. So I went ahead and bought it. But it was only like $10, so it's not like I spent a whole lot of money. So it's fine. Everything's fine. Guys, another popular one bites the dust for me. I'm gonna DNF Tenders of Blush. I just don't care. Like, I want to care. I want to care. And I want to, like, really understand why people really like this because I've been hearing about it for years and people really like it and it's really unhinged. I don't care. Like, I just don't. And I don't know if it's a me problem because of the fact that, like, I started listening to it while I was running and, like, and I was understood it and I was paying attention. I was fine during my run, but I was listening to it yesterday morning while I was at the gym and I just zoned out. I don't care. Like, do not care at all. And so I think that I'm just gonna go ahead and DNF it and just be done. I only have like 3 hours left of the audiobook, but I don't care. I don't want to listen to it. I'm just gonna zone out for the rest of it anyway, so I might as well just, not finish it. So yeah, that's a problem. Why is it that all these popular books I don't like? I don't know. There are some that I really like that are popular, but then there's like this select section of books that are popular that I can't even finish. I've DNF'd multiple really popular books and I just can't even finish them. And so that's unfortunate. But I am going to start the ritual here in a few days. I get another Audible credit on the 15th. So I will start it then, which gives me time to finish some of the other things that I'm listening to. But the ritual is one that I'm really excited about. From my understanding, we've got this like college society sort of thing where you've got these group of guys who are called the Lords, and they are basically given this girl to be like their chosen one, and they like show them off, and I guess they're like owned by them. I don't know. That's all that I really know, but apparently it's a little unhinged. So an unhinged romance. It's a bit of a risk for me because I don't really always like unhinged romances, but we're gonna try and see, guys. This book is unhinged already, and I have already considered DNFing it, and then I'm just like, wait, it's supposed to be this way. Like, it's supposed to be unhinged. Like, I'm wanting to DNF it because it's unhinged, and like that's the whole point, right? So I'm reeling it back in. I'm not going to DNF it quite yet, but it just reminds me of one of these other books that I read that I DNF'd not too long ago, where I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, that's just icky, and I just like it's so funny because I started this vlog with The Slob and I read it all the way through because it was gross and it's like the ickiest book I ever read. Yet I'm going to DNF this romance because it's icky. I make no sense. I don't know. But so we're following, it's interesting because we start off with like, it's almost like prologues because it's like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. And we're like, it's like a quick chapter of Riot, who is our male love interest. And he is going through like one event in each of these, and we're seeing him as he's being like initiated into the Lords, which is their secret society, right? And you watch him as he's getting deeper and deeper into this before he's like a real thing, right? And I think we're like 5 chapters in before we even got Blakely, who is the girl that we're following. And she is currently, or well, was at the start of the story, dating another dude who's also going to be a Lord. But Blakely has been chosen for Riot to be his chosen. Basically, that's what it's called. And I don't understand exactly how it all works yet. Of course, I'm not very far into it because they keep talking about how Blakely is going to marry Matt, who is the current boyfriend, but she's going to be Riot's chosen. And even Riot is talking about how like he's not going to keep her forever and she's going to marry Matt eventually. So she's not yours forever. I guess she's his until he decides to get rid of her. But what if he chooses not to? Like he's already said that he's going to get rid of her, right? Um I don't like her motivations for choosing to be a chosen, because she's like, my whole life has been planned out for me, and I'm tired of decisions, and I'm tired of people telling me what I'm going to do. And then she's choosing to be Riot's chosen, where he's going to sit there and tell you what to do. Make that make sense? That doesn't make any sense at all. And I mean, yeah, you won't get decision fatigue because he's making all of your decisions. But if you're mad because you don't want to marry Matt and your family is making you marry Matt, and yet you're going to be someone who's chosen to make all your decisions for you, it doesn't make any sense. And so that pulls me out of it just a little bit. And like the ickiness of Riot, like I have to remember that this is not like a romance. Like this is not a healthy romance because it is definitely unhinged, and Riot has already crossed lines. We just got to where she becomes a chosen, and he's already crossed lines like multiple times. And so, wish me luck as I continue to read this book. Guys, I just can't, okay? I can't read this book. I have to DNF the ritual. I guess I'm just not a dark romance girly because I can't. And this one, I don't even know. This one, let me get my thoughts together. This one doesn't really even have like a plot, really. It's just about the sex. Like, we're following Ritual, we're following Riot is his name. And we're following, what was her name? Blakely. And the whole plot so far is that he is applying to be a lord, and he has to go on like some missions for that, but you don't even like see a lot of that. They don't go into a lot of details yet about that. And then Blakely is his chosen to get back at her ex, basically. And he chose Blakely to get back at the ex because he hates him too. That's the plot so far. And I'm not like just a few minutes into this book. Like I've listened to a few hours of this book, and this is the plot so far. And it's just about the sex. And I just can't. I just it's just not fun at all, you know? It's just not. So I already wanted to DNF it before, and then I was listening to it, and I'm like, there's just no plot, and I just don't care. And listen, I was gonna listen to it all because I've already DNF Tender as Blush. I'm like, man, I can't DNF a second book in this vlog. But you know what? I can. I can DNF a second one. That's perfectly fine. I finished 2 books, and there's no reason for me to trudge my way through this book that I'm not enjoying. So I'm gonna go ahead and DNF it. I don't know. I mean, I could see why people would enjoy this because it is a very toxic relationship. And if you really enjoy all of those things, if you really enjoy like the control aspect and the female not having to make a lot of decisions and all those kinds of things, you might like this. I mean, they really explore the forced sex interest. So if you like those things, if you're interested in exploring your thoughts on those things, then maybe give this a try. But I just can't. So I'm gonna be done. And that might be it for the unhinged books for a little while because this vlog was a lot. But yeah, have you read any unhinged books? I would ask for recommendations for unhinged books, but I really think I'm going to be done for a little bit. So I don't know. Leave a comment if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next one.